Hi, I'm Steven and I like to make cardboard costumes and props. Today I'm making the Spider-Verse travel watch. Let's get started. I want to start off by thanking Liam from Web Warrior Cosplays. That's who suggested that I make this prop. As soon as I looked it up online, I saw this image on the Spider-Verse Twitter account. I immediately saved it and drew up a template, which is linked in the description of the video. This template is basically going to be 4 layers. The first layer is corrugated cardboard, second cereal box cardboard, third corrugated, and then fourth cereal box. Basically, I cover up all the bumpy corrugation with smooth cereal box cardboard. Now that I got that explanation out of the way, let's go. I cut out the 2 base layer pieces for the wristband. They're left open on the end because I really have no idea how big any of your wrists are if you're making this yourself. But I cut it to fit my wrist and scored the corrugated layer so it would curve easier around my wrist. Scoring just means cutting, but not all the way through. You want to follow the lines. I removed some of the corrugation on each end, so when they overlap, it'll lay flat. And yeah, I used hot glue to secure some Velcro on so it could stay curved when I worked on it. I let that hot glue dry, and then I cut off some of the corrugation to make room for a magnet. I made sure not to cut all the way through and just dug out a little bit of a hole. And I'm going to drop a little magnet in this tiny hole, and that's what's going to keep this closed because the watch has a little flap that goes up on top. Hot glue is used to drop in the magnet, and because it's so tiny, the best way to do this was actually by sticking it to the end of a piece of metal. I used my scissors, and then sliding it into the hole. Once that was secure, I lathered the entire corrugated base in a liberal amount of white glue in order to glue the cereal box layer on top of it. As you can see, I used binder clips to help get the 2 layers to stick together while they dried. Okay, on to the 2 design layers. I cut these pieces out of corrugated cardboard and then cereal box cardboard. It's the same as before. The corrugated pieces get glued down first and then covered up by the cereal box pieces, so all the bumps are covered up. White glue and binder clips are definitely my friend in this project. I didn't want to use hot glue because white glue is cheaper and I'm broke, so that's why I use white glue. Anyway, the glue didn't take long to dry, and in this clip you can kind of see that I have a magnet sticking to it on the outside of the cereal box. This is just there to help me visualize the placement of the magnet that's now hidden underneath the cereal box layer, because I want to make sure I get all these different pieces lined up. But yeah, all the corrugation was covered up until it looked nice and clean. And on to the graphics. Like I said at the beginning, the inspiration for the outside graphic was found on the Spider-Verse Twitter. However, the inspiration for the inside graphic was something that I saw on Etsy. I did my best to recreate both graphics by using the free version of Canva. It's a cool program if you guys ever want to do simple graphic design stuff. So for the outside graphic, this page of the template is basically just going to be layered together, so it's all stacked up. And I'm sure you guys can guess by now, but the corrugated cardboard was the first layer, and then I covered it up with the smooth cereal box. However, before I put the cereal box on, I made sure that I cut a little hole out for the little magnet and hot glued the itty bitty magnet right in place. More white glue and binder clips helped me glue the layers together. I made sure they were curved a little bit when I was gluing it, so it would look a little bit more natural when placed on my wrist. So on the template, you can see that I had planned to use a flimsy piece of plastic from a strawberry container to make the graphic shiny, but then I realized it's way easier to just use packing tape, so that's what I did, and I updated the template for you guys so you won't get confused when you're doing it yourself. But I covered the graphics in a smooth layer of packing tape, and now they're shiny and protected from paint and the elements. For this piece, I folded it before I completely cut it out. That way I got the fold directly in the middle and didn't have to guess. I glued the inside graphic to this piece, and FYI, if you're following along, push these 2 pieces together before you glue them on, and put another layer of tape on top of them to connect them. I kept them separate, and they get a little banged up in the middle when you're folding and unfolding this screen. The extra tape is going to help protect the edges, so I would definitely recommend making that update. That's something that I didn't do. Anyway, I sliced off all the little extra bits of paper from the template that were hanging off the sides, just to make the sides look even and nice and clean. And then once all that was done, I glued all these layers together. When all that glue dried, I glued it onto the wristband, waited for that to dry, and then voila! Time to paint this sucker. The entire watch was painted in black craft paint and left to dry. Once dried, I covered it in 2 thin coats of silver craft paint that got painted right on top of the black. The big button was painted in orange, and the little end design was painted in red. And with that, it looks like it's time for the glamour shots. There you have it, the Multiverse travel watch using Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. Who's ready to go to the Spider-Verse with me? I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It looks pretty sleek and it was definitely fun to make. However, it is a little bit awkward to film one-handed, but here's my best attempt at showing you it opening and closing. It opens and closes really nicely. And yeah, there you go. If you made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like and followed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.